Hello, welcome to week 2 in our state and local government course. My name is Professor Simpson, and I intended to do this ahead of week 1. And this is something that you'll see from me on a week-to-week basis ahead of our assignments and discussion topics and things like that. Just trying to have some exchange on the content that we'll be covering for this week. So just briefly looking back at week 1, for the most part, everybody did fine. Everybody, for the most part, got working on time, and I extended a little bit of grace, and everybody is starting on a strong footing. We're all in a good place. So what I want to do is just discuss how we need to keep it there. We need to, it's concise discussions, it's concise writing assignments. So we don't need to see length out of you guys, but just be mindful of the quality and effort that we're putting into it. Formatting is something very simple that you can do to get your points. So I need to see formatting. I need to see effort. I'm not expecting perfection, but as undergraduate students, you're at a level now where you can dot your I's and cross your T's, proofread, make sure that your submissions are full of effort and have a standard of quality. I will say that I appreciated the use of current events and even pulling in topics from our community, our state, neighboring states. I thought all of that was good. I appreciated reading that in our discussions and writing assignments. So I love to see that. I want to see more of that. So just looking forward to modules 3 and 4 and the discussion posts and the writing assignments for this week. And module 3 is kind of an extension of our Federalist conversation. And it gets into, the interactions and relationship between the state and national government. And it discusses some funding relationships. And just wanted to, touch on some of my experience with these funding mechanisms, particularly the grants. So today I work with the state government, and but prior to my time with the state, I was working for the Rockford Housing Authority. And one of the biggest projects that I participated in with the Rockford Housing Authority was a project grant. It was a competitive process that the agency went through applying for a grant from the Housing and Urban Development Agency, HUD. So we had to pull together an application. We had to interact with partners in the community and submit for a Choice Neighborhoods Grant. And it was just to study and do research and compile a plan. It was a Choice Neighborhoods Planning Grant. And it was a difficult task, but we ended up receiving the grant to take a look at our community and think through how we can do better to serve people, to improve the built environment in terms of neighborhood, and pull together partners to improve the community overall. So that was a project grant I had experience with. And I also worked with the city of Rockford, Illinois. And a big part of my role was managing the Community Development Block Grant Program, CDBG program. So this is block grant, but it's also based on those categories. And, a lot of it was about ensuring that low to moderate income individuals get connected to resources. And the CDBG money can be used for housing, emergency services. The dollars that I was connected to were used for economic development. And I was helping small businesses get money to buy equipment, to build out their storefronts. And it had a lot of requirements attached to it. You had to qualify, but working to find people who qualify, we did do some good things to help businesses get started up using the CDBG money. So that's just some experience I've had with those two funding mechanisms. I know the lecturer talks about home rule to a good amount at the end of module three's video. But there isn't, you won't see that in the chapter, but he was just sharing some of his perspective and his experience with that concept of home rule. And that's something maybe you are familiar with in some of the communities where you're from. But home rule is an interesting tool, and sometimes gets politically charged when you're talking about whether or not a community has those powers. So that's module three, and then module four discusses chapter three, involving state constitutions. And that's really interesting because right now, our state of Illinois has an opportunity by way of a vote on November 3rd to amend the state constitution. And there are a lot of people who are against the proposition, and there are a lot of people who are for the proposition. And it's about, I actually took some notes for it. It's about voting to amend the revenue portion of the Illinois Constitution that references taxing powers. And as of right now, the state of Illinois uses what they call a flat tax, where every person pays the same tax rate, no matter their income level. And what's being proposed is that there's a progressive tax, or what they're calling a fair tax, that has lower income people paying a lower tax rate and higher income people paying a higher tax rate. And the intent is to help raise revenues to deal with budget concerns and ensure that services are extended. So there are proponents for it, and there are people who are vehemently against it. And it's interesting that we're talking about this topic right now ahead of an election, because our state is considering an amendment to its constitution. So that's something that you, as a voter, you want to be familiar with that idea, and how it impacts us as citizens, and how revenues can be raised, or how power is extended in good or bad ways. Yeah, these are things that I just wanted to get out in front of you and discuss. Again, looking forward to seeing those discussion posts and writing assignments. And as always, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to shoot me an email. I'm happy to be a resource any way I can.